The pressure is rising, the playoff race is tightening, and tonight's MLB action is stacked with matchups that could tilt the postseason picture. From a marquee AL East showdown between the Yankees and Rays to the high-stakes NL battle in Los Angeles where the Reds take on the Dodgers, we've got elite pitching, red-hot bats, and plenty of betting value across the board. You want strikeout props, home run bombs, hidden value in team totals. You'll find all of it here. And whether you're riding with Soto and the Padres or banking on Alonso and the Mets, tonight's slate demands your full attention. There's no room for casual fans in this one. Only the sharpest minds and most passionate followers will come out on top. So lock in, stay focused, and let's break down the final stretch of the July 30th action, from San Diego's slugfest to Seattle's pitching duel. This is part 2 of your winning edge, brought to you by Beyond the Box Score, where numbers meet narrative and every inning tells a story. Game 9 Padres vs. Mets. The New York Mets and San Diego Padres square off at Citi Field in a matchup that pits two underperforming rosters with high expectations but very different identities. Both teams enter the contest trying to claw their way back into the wild card race, but time is running out, and urgency is mounting. The Padres will send their fireballing lefty Blake Snell 2.0, Dylan Cease, to the hill, while the Mets counter with a resurgent veteran arm in Jose Quintana. On the surface, this looks like a tightly matched affair, but a deeper breakdown into splits, advanced metrics, and betting angles shows which side holds the edge, and where the smart money should go. Starting with the visiting Padres, Dylan Cease has had an up-and-down season statistically, but he's shown flashes of the dominance that made him a Cy Young contender 2 years ago. Cease enters this matchup with a 4.09 ERA, a 3.78 xFIP, and an elite 11.4 K/9 rate across 113.2 innings pitched. His ability to generate whiffs is still elite, especially on his slider, which opposing hitters are batting just .171 against this year. But his biggest weakness, a tendency to issue free passes, remains a concern, with a walk rate of 4.1 BB/9. Cease has pitched better on the road than at Petco Park, with a 3.68 ERA and an opponent batting average of just .205 away from home. That plays well at Citi Field, a pitcher-friendly park with deep gaps and a spacious outfield. Cease will be tasked with containing a Mets lineup that has been streaky but explosive at times. Pete Alonso leads the way with 28 home runs and 8.508 slugging percentage, and Francisco Lindor continues to be a dangerous threat from both sides of the plate with 17 hours and 16 stolen bases. Brandon Nimmo, a patient leadoff hitter with 8.372 OBP, gives the Mets a strong chance to get to Cease early if his command isn't sharp. However, the Mets have struggled against right-handed pitching all season, with a collective .234 team average and a 91 WRC plus against righties. That gives Cease an advantage, especially if he can get ahead in counts and force the Mets to chase breaking balls out of the zone. Jose Quintana, on the other hand, has quietly become a reliable arm in the Mets' rotation after an injury-plagued start to the season. He comes into this game with a 3.71 ERA across 87.2 innings and a 1.19 WHIP. He's not going to blow hitters away with velocity. He averages just 90.6 miles per hour on his fastball, but he commands the strike zone well, induces soft contact, and limits hard-hit balls with his cutter-changeup combo. Quintana has also been excellent at Citi Field, sporting a 2.94 home ERA, and he's been particularly effective against left-handed batters, holding them to a .194 average. That will be crucial against the Padres' lefty-heavy lineup, which includes Juan Soto, Jake Cronenworth, and rookie standout Jackson Merrill. Speaking of Soto, he continues to be the engine of the Padres' offense, batting .286 with 27 homers and an OBP north of .410, good for a top 10 mark in MLB. Merrill has injected youthful energy with his .280 average, 14 steals, and gap-to-gap power. Fernando Tatis Jr., though streaky, remains a threat on both sides of the ball. But the Padres' biggest challenge has been consistency. They rank 20th in MLB in batting average with runners in scoring position, hitting just .238 as a team in those clutch spots. That lack of situational hitting has been a thorn in their side all year, and it may come into play again versus a pitcher like Quintana, who thrives at stranding runners and pitching out of jams. Defensively, both teams are mediocre by most advanced metrics. The Mets rank 18th in outs above average, while the Padres sit at 15th. San Diego does have the edge in outfield range thanks to Tatis and Soto, but New York's infield has been solid, especially with the return of Ronnie Mauricio and the steady presence of Lindor at shortstop. Behind the plate, the edge slightly leans to the Mets, as Francisco Alvarez has been one of the best defensive backstops in baseball with 8 catcher framing runs and a pop time in the 92nd percentile. The bullpens will likely play a pivotal role in this game. The Mets' pen has been brutal in the late innings, with a 4.78 ERA in the 7th inning or later, and they've blown 21 saves, 4th most in the league. Edwin Diaz returned but has not been the shutdown version of himself from 2022. On the other side, the Padres' bullpen, led by closer Robert Suarez and setup man Wandy Peralta, has been significantly better with a collective ERA of 3.47 since the All-Star break. If this game is close late, the edge clearly goes to San Diego. Let's talk betting value. The Padres opened as short -120 favorites on the road with the total set at 8.5 runs. That line suggests a tightly contested game, but Cease's strikeout upside and the Mets' vulnerability against elite sliders makes the Padres' moneyline a playable lean. Cease has cleared 7+ strikeouts in 5 of his last 7 road starts, so the Cease over 6.5 kiloseconds prop at plus money is very appealing. Another angle to consider is the first 5 innings under 4.5 at -110. With both starters capable of working deep into counts and limiting hard contact, the early game should be tight and low scoring. For props, look to Pete Alonso to go over 1.5 total bases plus 135. He's 4 for 10 lifetime off Cease with 2 extra base hits and usually sees the ball well against high-spin fastballs. On the Padres side, Juan Soto over 0.5 RBI plus 150 offers value, especially since he's hit .300 against Quintana in past matchups and is batting .325 with Risp this month. Another sneaky value play is Jackson Merrill to steal a base at plus 500. He's been given the green light more frequently in July and the Mets are 25th in catcher-caught stealing rate. Final score prediction: Padres 5, Mets 3. San Diego gets just enough offense behind a strong start from Dylan Cease and better bullpen execution. The Mets hang tough early, but bullpen inefficiency and a late Soto double prove costly. Game 10 Guardians vs Rockies. There are games that slide under the radar because of standings, and then there are games that present golden betting opportunities regardless of the team's positions in the playoff picture. And that's exactly what Game 10 between the Cleveland Guardians and Colorado Rockies feels like, an overlooked showdown with serious value if you know where to look. Cleveland, still pushing in the AL Central and trying to fend off Minnesota and Kansas City, rolls into this matchup with an underrated but sharp roster. The Rockies, meanwhile, are buried at the bottom of the NL West but have shown just enough life at Coors Field to ruin your parlay if you're not careful. But we're not here to play favorites, we're here to dissect every angle and get the smart money on the table. Let's set the stage. The Guardians are coming in with one of the best bullpen eras in baseball, top 3 in MLB, holding opponents to a .214 batting average in late innings. Their rotation has weathered injuries and call-ups but continues to deliver solid innings from starters like Tristan McKenzie, Tanner Bibee, and Logan Allen. Cleveland has also taken advantage of weaker teams on the schedule this year, going 18-7 against teams under .500. That's a massive stat when facing a team like Colorado, which is dead last in the National League and gives up more runs per game than any other team in baseball, a staggering 6.13 runs per game allowed. Offensively, Cleveland is a bit of an enigma. They rank near the bottom of the league in home runs, but are top 5 in team batting average and second in stolen bases, using speed and contact to pressure defenses. Jose Ramirez is the heartbeat of this team. The switch-hitting third baseman enters the game with a .280 average, 23 home runs, and 77 RBIs. He's also been red-hot in July, slugging .550 with multiple multi-hit games. Andres Gimenez and Steven Kwan provide elite contact, with both batting over .275 in the last 30 days and striking out at league-low rates. And let's not forget David Fry, who leads the team in ops at .926, though he's platooned more often against lefties. Speaking of lefties, the Rockies are expected to start Austin Gomer or possibly Ty Blach in this one. Either way, we're talking about soft-throwing southpaws who don't miss bats and who rely on inducing weak contact. But here's the problem. Cleveland feasts on these arms. The Guardians rank third in MLB in batting average against left-handed pitching, and they strike out just 16.5% of the time versus lefties, which is the lowest in the league. Expect Ramirez, Gimenez, and even Bo Naylor to have a field day in this matchup. Naylor, the catcher, is slashing .317, .394, .524 in his last 15 games and could be a sneaky prop play in this spot. On the Colorado side, it's more of the same struggles. The Rockies' offense has Coors Field inflation written all over it. Yes, Ryan McMahon is a legit bat. 19 homers, 61 RBIs, and a .790 ops, but he's also hitting just .236 in July. Brenton Doyle brings elite defense and speed, but has struck out in 33% of his plate appearances this season. The Rockies have been outscored by over 130 runs in 2025 and are 15-37 when facing teams with winning records. It gets worse. They've also lost 12 of their last 15 games against AL opponents. Now let's talk pitching props and matchup trends. Cleveland's probable starter Logan Allen has been sharp lately, posting a 3.54 ERA in his last 5 starts with a whip under 1.20. He's allowed more than 2 earned runs in just one of those outings and faces a Rockies team that ranks 27th in runs scored per game against left-handed pitching. Allen's strikeout prop is expected to be listed around 4.5 or 5.5, and that's a bet we love here. Colorado is striking out nearly 9.8 times per game in the last 2 weeks, and they've looked lost against breaking balls, Allen's specialty. The bullpen matchup, it's not even close. Cleveland's bullpen has a 2.89 ERA and 35 saves, second best in the league, while Colorado's relievers have the worst ERA in baseball at 5.89 and have blown 21 saves already. If this is close late, the Guardians are in great position to close the door. Combine that with Colorado's MLB worst -1.8 bullpen WAR, and this is not a team that can protect leads. Let's pivot to best bets. The Guardians' moneyline should open in the range of -160 to -175 depending on the Rockies starter, and that's solid parlay material. The team total for Cleveland, if set at 5.5, has real value for the over. Rockies pitching has allowed 6 or more runs in 11 of their last 14 games, and Cleveland has scored 5+ in 7 of their last 9 wins. As for the total, if it's 9.5 or higher, there might be slight lean on the under just because Cleveland's pitching is so reliable, but Coors Field makes it dangerous. Props-wise, we're targeting Jose Ramirez over 1.5 total bases and to record an RBI, which has hit in 6 of his last 10 games. Bo Naylor's over 0.5 hits is another strong leg. He's had at least 1 hit in 13 of his last 16 games. Logan Allen over 4.5 strikeouts is a lean, and you could include that in an SGP. Final prediction: Cleveland should take care of business in a game that matters way more to them than it does to Colorado. Look for a clean start from Allen, bullpen dominance, and Jose Ramirez to lead the offense. Guardians 6, Rockies 3. This isn't a spotlight game on ESPN or MLB Network, but the edge here is sharp, the mismatch is clear, and the betting angles are strong. That's the value we dig into on Beyond the Box Score, where every game tells a story, and every number counts. Game 11, Yankees vs. Rays. There are matchups that feel like a clash of titans even when the standings don't always reflect it. That's what happens when the Yankees meet the Rays. Regardless of where they are in the AL East hierarchy, every game between these two powerhouses is fueled by pride, strategy, and a long-brewing rivalry built on animosity and postseason battles. For July 30, 2025, the Yankees travel to Tropicana Field to lock horns with the Rays in what feels like a playoff intensity battle in the dead of summer. And it comes at a time when both squads are trending differently. New York is fighting tooth and nail to stay in the AL wildcard mix, while Tampa Bay is trying to rediscover the consistency that made them a menace in previous years. Starting on the mound for the Yankees is Carlos Rodon, who's had a rollercoaster season but has lately shown signs of returning to form. Rodon enters with a 3.91 ERA, a 1.26 WHIP, and 109 strikeouts across 101 innings. While he's given up 17 home runs, the encouraging sign is his recent command. In his last 3 starts, he's allowed just 4 earned runs in 18.2 innings, including a 10-strikeout gem against the Royals. He's struggled occasionally against righty-heavy lineups like Tampa Bay's, but his slider has been more effective lately. Opposing batters are hitting just .186 against it in July. On the other side, the Rays hand the ball to Zach Eflin, who comes into this game with a 4.25 ERA, a 1.19 WHIP, and 92 kiloseconds over 106 innings. Eflin's been a reliable control artist, issuing just 16 walks all season, but he's been tagged by the long ball too frequently, 20 homers allowed, including 6 in his last 4 starts. His fastball and cutter combo is solid, but he's shown vulnerability to left-handed bats hitting over .290 off him this season. That's something the Yankees will try to exploit with Anthony Rizzo, Juan Soto, and possibly Austin Wells in the lineup. Now, let's talk matchups. The Yankees are hitting .243 as a team but boast the 4th most home runs in the league with 152 bombs, which plays well in a dome where ball travel is a bit more consistent. Aaron Judge leads the team with 37 home runs, 90 RBIs, and a monstrous .635 slugging percentage. Soto follows close behind with 28 hours, .408 OBP, and a solid .547 SLG. The two have become the most dangerous 1-2 punch in baseball. Add in Gleyber Torres, who's heating up in July batting .312 over his last 12 games, and the Yankees are a serious offensive threat. For the Rays, the offense isn't as explosive, but it's scrappy. They rank 10th in team batting average at .252, but only 19th in runs scored. Their power has been inconsistent, but Yandy Diaz .289 AVG, 12 HR, 56 RBI, and Randy Arozarena .267 AVG, 14 HR, 19 SB remain the catalysts. Look for Isaac Paredes, who has crushed lefties with a .302 average and 1.015 ops, to be a key bat against Rodon. Tampa's offense leans on contact, small ball, and situational hitting rather than big flies, but they've been strong at home, averaging 5.1 runs per game in their last 10 at Tropicana. From a bullpen perspective, New York has the edge. They boast a bullpen ERA of 3.28, good for second best in the AL, and closer Clay Holmes has converted 24 of 27 save opportunities with a 2.01 ERA. Tampa's bullpen has been shakier this year with a 4.11 ERA, though Jason Adam and Pete Fairbanks remain elite late-inning options when healthy. Let's break down the best bets and props for this one. Full game total. Over/under 8.5 runs. This one's tricky. With both starters being prone to giving up home runs and power bats like Judge, Soto, and Arozarena involved, there's potential for an offensive spike. However, both bullpens are capable of limiting late scoring. Slight lean over 8.5 -110. Moneyline. Yankees -122, Rays +106. The Yankees have won 6 of their last 8 games and seem to have a little more urgency. With Rodon trending upward and the bullpen advantage, lean Yankees ML -122. Player prop number 1 Aaron Judge home run. Judge has 3 hours off Eflin in 15 career at-bats and thrives in domes. At +290, this is excellent value. Player prop number 2 Juan Soto total bases over 1.5. Soto is 5 for 10 lifetime versus Eflin with a homer and 2 doubles. At +110, this is one of the sharpest value spots. Player prop number 3 Carlos Rodon over 6.5 strikeouts. Tampa ranks 8th in K rate against lefties. Rodon's recent stretch includes back-to-back games with 9+ Ks. At +120, this is worth playing. Team total. Yankees over 4.5 runs +105. Given Eflin's HR issues and the Yankees lineup depth, this number is beatable. Same game parlay SGP legs worth considering. Yankees ML. Juan Soto 2+ total bases. Aaron Judge to hit a home run. Rodon 6+ strikeouts. +850 payout range depending on book. Final score prediction. Yankees 6, Rays 4. Expect a tight game early with New York breaking through mid-game thanks to its power bats. Rodon does just enough to turn it over to the bullpen, and Judge goes deep to seal it late. This game is a must-watch for prop bettors and AL East watchers alike. With both clubs carrying postseason hopes and pride on the line, this Monday night showdown in the Trop has fireworks written all over it. Stay tuned for Part 2, covering the next wave of games in this stacked MLB slate. Game 12 Reds vs. Dodgers. The final game of our MLB July 30th breakdown might be the most electric one of the slate, as the Cincinnati Reds travel to the West Coast to battle the Los Angeles Dodgers in a matchup that has major playoff implications for both sides. The Dodgers, currently leading the NL West and playing at a scorching 18-6 pace in their last 24 games, have once again turned on the Jets post-All-Star break. The Reds, on the other hand, are in full dogfight mode for an NL wild card berth and have no room for error if they want to stay in that mix. This is a classic pitching duel featuring a fireballer in Hunter Greene taking the mound for Cincinnati, while the Dodgers counter with righty Bobby Miller, who's still trying to rediscover the dominance that made him such a weapon in 2023. This is a game dripping with narratives, from Elly De La Cruz's primetime performance potential to Mookie Betts continuing to hammer fastballs with authority. Let's unpack everything, line by line, stat by stat, prop by prop, and tell you where the smartest money lies. Let's start with the arms. Hunter Greene has been lights out in July, posting a 2.88 ERA across 4 starts this month with 28 strikeouts in 25 innings. He's held opponents to a .197 average and is finally commanding the triple-digit heater in the top of the zone, pairing it with his nasty slider which has generated a 41% whiff rate since July 1st. But here's the problem. The Dodgers crush high velocity. They lead the league in batting average and slugging percentage against pitches over 97 miles per hour this season, and both Mookie Betts and Shohei Ohtani are top 10 in weighted runs created against four-seamers. On the flip side, Bobby Miller hasn't looked like the same guy since returning from a shoulder issue. In his last 4 starts, he's posted a 5.82 ERA and opponents are slugging .528 off his fastball. That's a red flag considering this Reds team ranks top 6 in MLB in barrel rate over the past 2 weeks. Players like De La Cruz and Spencer Steer are sitting dead red early in counts, and if Miller misses even slightly, the Reds will do damage. This pitching matchup might look like a low total on paper, but both sides have offensive advantages that suggest an over might be in play. Speaking of those bats, let's talk about the heart of each lineup. For the Reds, Elly de la Cruz has been a spark plug post All-Star break, slashing .312, .378, .567 in his last 15 games with 4 home runs, 7 stolen bases, and a 94th percentile hard hit rate. He's also been more patient at the plate, drawing walks in over 10% of his plate appearances, a key evolution that turns him into a more complete threat. Matt McLain has quietly been hot as well, batting .349 in July and slugging over .600 on breaking balls, which he should see plenty of from Miller. For the Dodgers, it's the usual suspects: Betts, Freeman, and Ohtani. Betts is hitting .327 since July 1st and leads the league in WRC+ over the last 30 days. Ohtani, meanwhile, has 9 homers in July and a 1.133 OPS in night games this season. This is the type of lineup that can wear down a power pitcher like Green by fouling off velocity and forcing him into long innings. And don't forget about Will Smith and Max Muncy, 2 guys who've historically mashed against hard-throwing righties and could provide sneaky power late in this one. Now let's talk numbers. The Dodgers entered this game as -168 favorites on the moneyline, while the Reds are +140 dogs. The total is set at 9.5 runs, with slight juice to the over at -115 as of early morning lines. First 5 total is sitting at 4.5, and that might be the sharper angle, especially given both starting pitchers have shown early inning vulnerability this month. Green has a 6.00 ERA in the first 2 innings over his last 3 starts. Miller, meanwhile, has allowed a first-inning run in 3 of his last 5 appearances. If you're playing the prop game, Elly de la Cruz to record a hit and steal a base is sitting at +185, excellent value given his green light against catchers who've allowed over 75% stolen base success rate this season. On the Dodgers side, Mookie Betts is -135 to record 2+ total bases and +400 to homer, both strong plays given his matchup splits. Will Smith is +160 to record an RBI and +100 to score a run, sneaky value if he's hitting behind Freeman and Ohtani. And if you're looking for a long shot, Reds catcher Tyler Stevenson is +675 to homer. He's got 3 dingers in his last 10 games and matches up well with Miller's shaky slider. Betting angles here require some boldness. While the Dodgers are the better team overall, this line might be a touch inflated due to name value and home field. The Reds have actually won 3 of their last 5 games at Dodger Stadium and are 6-2 in Green's last 8 road starts. If you're looking for a dog with value, Cincinnati fits the bill. But the safer play might be the total. Both bullpens have shown recent signs of vulnerability, and both lineups are in rhythm. Over 9.5 is playable, but alternate totals like over 10 at +115 could be even more profitable. If you're building a same-game parlay, consider Betts 2+ total bases, Elly de la Cruz 1+ steal, and the full game over 9.5. A combo that pays in the +800 to +900 range depending on your book. In terms of game flow, expect a back-and-forth affair with plenty of base runners. The Reds will likely try to pressure the Dodgers with aggressive running, while LA will lean on timely extra base hits. Look for Green to strike out 7 but give up a couple of bombs, while Miller gets chased before the 6th inning. Final score prediction: Dodgers 7. Reds 5, with the total going over and the Reds covering the +1.5 run line spread in a tight contest that will have playoff energy from the jump. If you're watching this one late on the East Coast, don't turn it off early. Both these clubs have walk-off power and plenty to play for. Game 13: Cardinals vs Marlins. Let's shift our focus to a sneaky, high-value matchup that could fly under the radar for casual fans, but not for us sharp bettors. Street Louis Cardinals vs Miami Marlins. On paper, this might not seem like the marquee game of the night, but it holds real juice when you dive into the underlying data, pitcher splits, and betting value. The Cards are inching back toward relevance, sitting 52 to 53 and within reach of a wild card spot. Their offense has started clicking again, and they've quietly gone 7-3 over their last 10 games. The Marlins, meanwhile, continue to flounder in the NL East basement with a 41-64 record, and their current 1-9 slide speaks volumes about their dysfunction on both sides of the ball. Yet, baseball's about finding opportunity in chaos, and this game is bursting with exploitable betting angles if you know where to look. First off, the pitching matchup. Lance Lynn takes the hill for St. Louis, and it's been a season of extremes for the veteran right-hander. Lynn enters with a 4.78 ERA across 21 starts but has posted a 3.62 ERA over his last 5 outings, showing signs of sharper command and improved sequencing. In those last 5 starts, Lynn's whip sits at 1.19, and he's allowing fewer barrels per plate appearance. The biggest uptick, his first pitch strike percentage has gone from 58% to 66%, giving him more leverage counts. He's also faced Miami once already this season and dominated, 7 innings, 3 hits, 1 run, 8 strikeouts. The Marlins' current roster hits just .191 against Lynn lifetime with a meager .552 ops, and their lineup hasn't gotten any scarier. On the other side, Miami sends Trevor Rogers, the lefty who continues to struggle since returning from injury. He's 1-8 with a bloated 6.23 ERA, and his command has abandoned him, averaging 4.1 walks per 9 innings. Right-handed hitters are torching him to the tune of a .308 average and .910 ops, and that's bad news against a Cards lineup stacked with right-handed power. Arenado, Goldschmidt, and Contreras all match up well here, and with Rogers giving up hard contact 44% of the time, don't be surprised if the ball leaves the yard early. Speaking of hard contact, let's talk offense. The Cardinals have seen a big turnaround since the All-Star break, averaging 5.4 runs per game, and their team ops in July sits at .772, up from .689 in June. Wilson Contreras has been on fire, batting .362 over his last 15 games with a 1.090 ops in 5 hours. Lars Nootbaar is quietly getting on base at a .411 clip since returning from injury, and rookie Mason Wynn is providing spark in the bottom half of the order with multiple multi-hit games in the past week. On the flip side, Miami has been ice cold, managing just 2.3 runs per game over their last 10, and they've scored 3 or fewer runs in 8 of those contests. Luis Arraez continues to put the bat on the ball, but he's not driving in runs, and Jazz Chisholm has seen his slugging percentage plummet to .389 in July. Now let's break down the betting markets, starting with the moneyline. The Cardinals opened around -135 on the road, which suggests sharp faith in Lynn's form and the Marlins' offensive ineptitude. At this number, there's solid value if you can grab anything up to -145. Street. Lewis is 5-2 in Lynn's last 7 road starts, and they've cashed on the moneyline in 4 straight versus sub-.400 teams. The run line +115 at -1.5 is a sneaky good pivot if you want plus money and trust the Cards' bats to chase Rogers early. If Lynn gets 6 strong, this could be a 6-2 type of final. As for the total, it opened at 8.5, and that's right in the zone where sharp bettors can attack. With Rogers' walk issues and the Cardinals' current form, the over 4.5 team total for STL is worth hammering. They've hit this number in 6 of their last 8 games, and Rogers hasn't made it past the 5th inning in 4 straight. Live betting opportunities may also present themselves if Miami uses a taxed bullpen, 3 key arms pitched back-to-back days entering this game. Now let's talk props. Wilson Contreras over 1.5 total bases +130 is our top play. He's crushing lefties at 8.330 clip this season with 9 homers in 83 abs. Nolan Arenado to hit a home run +400 is another juicy dart throw. He's slugging .516 lifetime versus LHP and has 6 hours in July. For strikeouts, Lance Lynn over 6.5 kiloseconds plus 105 is firmly in play. Miami strikes out 9.4 times per game and Lynn has cleared 7 kiloseconds in 3 of his last 5 starts. If you're feeling frisky, the SGP combo of Cards ML plus Contreras 2 plus total bases plus Lynn 6 plus Ks is paying around plus 375 on most books. Final verdict: we're riding the Cardinals minus 1.5, over 4.5 team total, and love the Contreras plus Arenado props. Miami simply can't hit enough to keep pace, and with Rogers on the hill, this could unravel fast. Look for St. Louis to build an early lead, Lynn to dice up the bottom half of the order, and the Redbirds, righties to feast on soft, elevated stuff. A complete mismatch of momentum and matchups, and we're backing the hotter, hungrier squad that's still in the playoff hunt. Final score prediction: Cardinals 6, Marlins 2. Want part 2 with the rest of today's betting breakdowns? It's already live on our channel, Beyond the Box Score. Go smash that like button, drop your favorite prop in the comments, and subscribe for the sharpest MLB picks every single day. We don't just read the scoreboard, we go beyond it. Game 14. Los Angeles Angels vs Texas Rangers. The Texas Rangers are in desperation mode, sitting just below .500 and trying to claw their way back into the AL wildcard race. The defending World Series champs have been stuck in the mud for most of the 2025 season, unable to find consistency with their bats or arms. On Tuesday night, they'll host the Los Angeles Angels, a team even deeper in the rebuilding phase, but not without talent. The Halos have shown occasional flashes of brilliance, with young players stepping up and veterans still contributing. However, they've been woefully inconsistent on the road and struggle to hit right-handed pitching. This game is all about momentum. Can Texas protect their home turf and stay in contention, or will the Angels play spoiler? For Texas, they'll send Michael Lorenzen to the mound, a veteran righty who's quietly had a strong bounce-back year. Lorenzen enters the matchup with a 3.42 ERA, 1.19 WHIP, and 92 strikeouts across 108.2 innings pitched. He's allowed only 10 home runs this year and has done a great job limiting hard contact, especially at home where opponents are hitting just .218 against him. Lorenzen's best weapon has been his sinker-changeup combo, keeping hitters off balance and inducing ground balls at a 46% rate. That plays perfectly into Globe Life Field's expansive outfield, where mistakes don't always turn into runs. Over his last 4 starts, Lorenzen has allowed just 7 earned runs in 25.1 innings, a sign that he's trending in the right direction heading into a very winnable matchup against the Angels. On the other side, the Angels counter with young right-hander Davis Daniel, who's had an up-and-down introduction to MLB life in 2025. Daniel comes into this start with a 4.67 ERA, 1.36 WHIP, and 48 strikeouts over 61.2 innings. The biggest concern with Daniel has been his control. He's issued 28 walks this year, and when he falls behind in counts, he becomes extremely hittable. Opposing hitters are slugging .452 against him when ahead in the count. Against a Texas lineup that thrives on punishing mistakes, Daniel has very little room for error. If he can't command the outer half and get swings early in the count, he's going to be in for a short outing. Now let's look at the bats. Corey Seager continues to be the most dangerous hitter in the Texas lineup. Despite dealing with injuries throughout the year, Seager has slashed .289, .374, .511 with 18 home runs and 56 RBIs in 76 games. His ops at home is over .920, and he's hit .315 against right-handed pitchers this season. His prop lines sit at over 1.5 total bases, minus 120, and plus 400 to homer, both of which are very appealing against a struggling righty like Daniel. Marcus Semien has quietly posted a 3.2 WAR season, leading the team with 62 RBIs and chipping in 13 steals. Add in the recent power surge from Josh Jung, who's gone deep 4 times in his last 7 games, and you've got a dangerous middle of the order. For the Angels, the offense begins and ends with Logan O'Hoppe and Zach Neto, 2 of their younger core pieces who have shown flashes of becoming legitimate stars. O'Hoppe is hitting .261 with 14 hours and 8.778 OPS on the year. He's posted over 1.5 total bases in 4 of his last 6 games and is listed at +425 to homer. Meanwhile, Neto has become the most consistent bat in the Angels lineup, slashing .282, .332, .438 with 11 hours, 22 doubles, and 15 steals. However, beyond those 2, there's a steep drop in productivity. Brandon Drury is hitting just .227 with a 27% strikeout rate, and Joe Adell, despite his speed, has posted an on-base percentage below .290. Against a command pitcher like Lorenzen, the Angels will need to scratch across runs via speed and timely hits, something they've struggled to do, especially in night games where they're just 18-34 this season. When we zoom out and analyze bullpen trends, Texas has the edge. The Rangers' pen has been shaky at times, ranking 22nd in bullpen era, 4.41, but they've been better in July, with Jose Leclerc and David Robertson combining for 4 saves and a 2.28 ERA in their last 15 innings. Meanwhile, the Angels' bullpen has been a mess. Carlos Estevez has blown 6 saves this season and has a 5.03 ERA since June 1. Their bullpen WAR ranks 27th in MLB, and they've given up late leads in 6 of their last 11 losses. That kind of unreliability makes them extremely dangerous to trust in any close game scenario. As for betting angles, the Rangers are currently listed as -152 favorites on the moneyline, with the Angels at +130 underdogs. The total sits at 8.5 runs, slightly shaded to the over at -115. Given the Rangers' offensive upside against righties and Lorenzen's ability to neutralize a weak Angels lineup, the value likely lies in Rangers -1.5 +140, and team total over 4.5 runs -105. For player props, you can target Corey Seager over 1.5 TBs, Marcus Semien to record a hit in first plate appearance +160, and Josh Jung to homer +500. From the Angels' side, O'Hoppe over 0.5 RB is +190, might be a sneaky good value if he bats cleanup again. Final prediction: it's tough to trust the Angels in this environment. With Daniels' command issues and a volatile bullpen, it's likely that Texas jumps out early and holds the lead. Expect a strong start from Lorenzen, timely power from Seager and Jung, and a bullpen that shuts the door late. The Rangers know every game matters from here on out, and they're not about to let the lowly Angels spoil a home game this deep into the season. Final score prediction: Texas Rangers 6, Los Angeles Angels 3. Best bets: Rangers -1.5 +140. Corey Seager over 1.5 total bases -120. Team total over 4.5 -105. Josh Jung to homer +500. Game 15 Athletics vs Mariners. The Oakland Athletics continue their lengthy rebuild on the road in Seattle, where they'll take on the red-hot Mariners at T-Mobile Park in Game 15 of our July 30th slate. This one isn't just another West Coast nightcap, it's a perfect example of how two teams at very different stages of their competitive windows approach each matchup. The Mariners, right in the thick of a tightly contested AL West race, can't afford to drop games like this. Meanwhile, the A's, despite their 40-67 record entering this series, have quietly become a scrappy spoiler team with several undervalued arms and young bats capable of pushing better clubs to the brink. This game may look like a mismatch on paper, but it offers great betting value, actionable props, and strategic depth that's easy to overlook. Let's start on the mound, where Seattle will send right-hander Logan Gilbert to the bump. Gilbert has quietly pieced together a career-best season, coming into this start with an 8-5 record and a 3.21 ERA across 129.1 innings pitched. He's struck out 127 batters and walked only 28, showcasing elite command and an improving pitch mix. His whip sits at 1.01, and he's allowed 3 runs or fewer in 10 of his last 11 starts. He's especially dominant at home, where his ERA drops to 2.69 with an opponent batting average of just .211. He'll face an A's lineup that struggles mightily against right-handed pitching, ranking 28th in MLB in batting average and 27th in ops versus righties. Gilbert's fastball-slider combo should carve through the bottom of Oakland's lineup with minimal resistance. Across the diamond, the Athletics counter with left-hander J.P. Sears. Sears, a young arm with a live fastball and developing changeup, enters with a 5-9 record and a 4.45 ERA. He's pitched to a 1.28 whip and has surrendered 21 home runs, a major concern in a power-hungry Seattle lineup. Over his last 5 starts, Sears owns a 5.11 ERA and has been knocked out before the 6th inning in 4 of them. While he's shown flashes of potential, his command has faltered, and his high fly ball rate is a red flag against hitters like Julio Rodriguez and Cal Raleigh, who both slug well against left-handed pitchers. The Mariners have also torched lefties recently, posting a .778 ops in July, ranking 5th in MLB this month against southpaws. Now to the bats. Seattle's offense is built around J-Rod, who's heating up in the second half with a .326 average, .896 ops, and 9 steals in July alone. His combination of power and speed makes him a threat in multiple ways, especially against pitchers like Sears who struggle holding runners. Julio's total bases prop is worth serious attention tonight, and his HR-RBI combo market also holds value. Behind him, Cal Raleigh and Ty France provide the thunder. Raleigh in particular is in a power groove, hitting 3 home runs in his last 6 games and batting .284 in that stretch. Against a lefty who gives up barrels, he's a strong HR prop option. Don't ignore Dylan Moore, either. The utility man is hitting .290 in limited July at bats with sneaky speed and pop, and he's a perfect DFS value target or SGP leg. For the Athletics, Zach Geloff remains one of their lone bright spots. The second baseman is batting .274 with 13 home runs and a team-leading 42 RBI. He also leads the team in hard hit rate since the All-Star break. If anyone is going to do damage against Gilbert, it'll be Geloff, who crushes fastballs and has a solid track record against high-velocity arms. Brent Rooker is another to watch, with 17 home runs this season, though his strikeout rate remains over 31%, which is a death sentence against a control artist like Gilbert. Eschery Ruiz brings elite speed to the table, with 34 stolen bases, though his on-base skills have dipped to .284. Still, if he gets on base, it could shake up Gilbert's rhythm, something worth monitoring in live betting or late-game player props. Let's look at team trends. Seattle is 12-3 in its last 15 home games and 9-1 in its last 10 games as a favorite of -200 or greater, exactly the range they'll sit in tonight. Their bullpen has also been nails. Andres Munoz and Ryan Stanek lead a pen with a 2.88 ERA in July, the second best in MLB. Oakland, on the other hand, is 3-11 in its last 14 games against AL West opponents and a staggering 16-38 on the road. They also average only 3.9 runs per game in away contests and have failed to score more than 3 runs in 6 straight games versus teams with winning records. In terms of best bets, the Mariners' -1.5 run line is playable up to -120. Gilbert's dominance at home, combined with Oakland's poor splits versus righties, suggests a low-scoring game on one side. The total sits at 8, which is sharp, but consider the under if you expect Sears to limit the damage through 5 innings. Prop-wise, Target Julio Rodriguez over 1.5 total bases, Cal Raleigh to hit a home run, and Gilbert over 6.5 strikeouts. He's cleared that number in 7 of his last 9 outings. A same-game parlay option could be Mariners ML plus Julio 2 plus TB plus Gilbert 6 plus Ks, which books at around plus 270 depending on the sportsbook. Final score prediction: Mariners 6, Athletics 2. Gilbert deals, the bullpen closes the door, and Julio Rodriguez adds to his growing late-season MVP buzz. Oakland gets a solo shot or two but ultimately falls short again in a game that reflects their current rebuild stage. Seattle continues to take care of business at home and maintain pressure atop the AL West. If you haven't checked out Part 1, it's already uploaded, breaking down the first 8 games in full detail with best bets, home run props, and sharp insights. After watching this, go catch that one. And if you're serious about staying ahead of the books and knowing the game inside out, smash that like button, subscribe to Beyond the Box Score, and turn on notifications so you never miss a pitch, a pick, or a profit.